Would you like to get updated with the latest episode of AnimeKouhai Tensura spoiler series? It's episode number 533, volume 18, chapter 4, part 6, entitled, Internal Struggles and Unexpected Allies Emerge Amidst the Battle. Support the channel and get access to both Tensura and solo leveling episodes, totaling 5 episodes each week from Monday to Friday. Check out her Patreon page if you get a chance.
What's up guys, welcome to AnimeKouhai. If you'd like to help me out, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel.
Right. See what the Guardians are truly capable of.
Arya was following Tornio's lead despite the fact that he had just been on the verge of death. No matter how powerful they all were, they had no plan of giving up without a fight. Tornio, who had been on the verge of passing out just moments earlier, flared up, and Arya used the opportunity to put on a performance. She didn't intend to concede loss without taking action, as if she possessed superhuman strength. Kagali was making every effort to assess the circumstance. The likelihood of everyone surviving was very low. At this time, recruiting as many people to the mixed core was the tactical victory objective. They needed to delay for time in order to accomplish this. Up until Yuki vanquished Damrata, until Laplace arrived to assist, Kagali's goal was to buy valuable time. I do hope that one of you can make it, but we'll see. In light of this, Kagali approached Kondou from the front.
Huh? You'll be my opponent, right?
Yes, let's find out how strong the Imperial Guard commander is.
Kagali responded, but she was aware that Kondou was superior to her in talent. Using herself as a ruse was Kagali's intention. If we can't win, the best we can do is buy time. She decided to stand her ground and approach Kondou. On the other side, Kondou didn't appear to be interested in Kagali. He let out a frustrated sigh at the fight that had broken out around him.
I detest pointless labor. You should be aware that you cannot win a battle with mental will, and I will not support your stalling strategies.
You feel? Because I believe that if you hope hard enough, a miracle just might happen.
That's absurd. A former demon lord talking while asleep.
Kagali responded with a smirk. Her former status as a demon lord was meant to be a secret known only to a select group of her friends. Kondou had so effortlessly disclosed it. To put it another way, he had determined that such knowledge was unimportant.
You really seem to be looking down on me, don't you?
I don't believe so, no. Okay, here's something else I'll tell you. You're making an effort to enlist in the mixed core, but it's useless. A strike force has already been assembled by the Emperor himself.
What?
A very unusual situation was the Emperor heading off to war. However, Kagali was more interested in the force that was being gathered.
What did you anticipate? We only care about the powerful. Okay if you pledge allegiance to His Majesty. But a collection of fish without the ability to develop? Thank you, but no.
What do you mean, exactly?
Are you having trouble hearing me? You are only being kept alive at this time because of your capacity for evolution. Everything is proceeding as planned by His Majesty.
Don't give that to me. Are you saying you were aware of our entire plan?
Kagali was indignant. Kondou merely shot her an angry glance.
What a pointless question. Or did you believe you were deceiving us while we were in the capital?
In Kagali's heart, a small, enraged spark, the flame of humiliation, lit itself. Kagali had created a variety of schemes using her special ability, Schemer, and had been successful with most of them. Despite the recent mistakes she had made, mostly in regards to Rimuru, she was still proud to be Yuki's closest confidant and top tactician. But Kondou simply snorted at everything.
How dare a simple human like you speak in such a manner?
A simple human? You mean Yuki Kagurazaka, right?
Kagali experienced a blood-curdling fury that made her feel as though her vision had vanished. She recognized that this was a component of Kondou's strategy. Despite that, she would lose a fight if she allowed her emotions to take control of her in her rage. This was demonstrated by Footman's assault on Kondou, which was likely motivated by Kagali's rage. The most offensive of the clowns, Footman, was shooting enormous mana bullets without any thought of wiping out the capital. Kondou avoided the assault, but the city was alerted and it appeared that a major disturbance was about to occur. At this pace, not only Kondou's group, but also other guards and bystanders, would arrive on the scene. There was no reason for Kagali and the others to be worried now that this had occurred. Anyone who disturbs them should be viewed as an adversary, and they should be expelled. She was confident that Kondou and the others were cognizant of the circumstance though. Then why were they putting up with the present circumstance? Kagali questioned that. Sit down and take a deep breath. He's only attempting to infuriate me. She would just have to follow Kondou's lead since she knew what he had in mind. Kagali repressed her rage as she considered this. She felt uneasy all of a sudden, as though she had missed an important issue. Wait, someone had control over Damrata. If Kondou was responsible for that. Tyr was fighting alongside Footman in the conflict. They were surrounded by a dreadful battle between the Imperial Guardians and Yuki's companions. Even in this circumstance, Kondou maintained his position. Before she knew what was happening, Kondou was ready with a blade in his left and a pistol in his right. The two Majin who were stronger than demon lords, Footman and Tyr, kept their cool. She had anticipated that he would be powerful, but this was beyond her expectations. He was definitely more powerful than Damrata. This made Kagali understand how unsettling Kondou was once more. Kondou did not make any attempt to fire his pistol, he simply held it up. He was using only his blade to battle Tyr and Footman. Kagali thought the blade was a magnificent sword. Unbeknownst to Kagali, the sword was actually fashioned after a naval sword, but it had a stunningly gorgeous blade that captured the attention of everyone who saw it. It was a prized family treasure that had been handed down through the Kondou family for many years and was not something that a novice could afford. Obviously, it was not a weapon that could be held in one hand. Kondou, however, held it in one hand only, his left hand firmly grasping the bottom portion of the handle. It was clear to observers that he had not been performing to the best of his ability because this was an ordinary approach. This individual poses a threat, taking those two on as rivals but not taking the battle seriously. So why? He could have treated them more gravely if he had intended to kill them. Does he believe we will be helpful to him if he doesn't do that? I suppose that's. And then Kagali figured out the answer. Kagali cried out.
Be careful. It's possible that Kondou can influence people in some manner.
Ho, you're right.
Instead of disputing it, Kondou frankly acknowledged it. This seemed odd to Kagali. This guy showed his hand? No, since we already suspect him, there is no sense in denying it. I don't comprehend, but on the other hand, if he confirms it, it will make us more cautious. Why did he? Kagali was dubious. She was unable to comprehend Kondou's reasoning and failed to recognize the proper course of action. She should stick with her original plan of stalling for time because she could not win by fighting. She believed that, but she was baffled as to why Kondou was supporting this plan. No, that's weird. How can this guy claim that he doesn't want to assist us in buying us some time, but, oh, that's right. Kagali at last understood how terrifying Kondou actually was. She understood that every conversation had a purpose and that he had totally manipulated its flow by weaving lies throughout.
You are wasting time as well.
You worked it out at last? I've been participating in your pointless delaying tactics. It is simple to figure out what you are thinking.
Kagali attempted to remain calm, but was irritated by Kondou's provocations.
Don't give that to me.
Do you understand why they refer to me as the information monster? Didn't you say it yourself earlier? You just said that I could command others. Why don't you realize that I can easily get knowledge from those I've got under control?
What is he talking about? Pondered Kagali. If this were a falsehood, it would be too childish. However, if this were the truth, it would be equivalent to revealing crucial information. It was difficult to imagine that this careful man would expose his own hand in such a way.
You know, this is a bother for me as well. Not even I have all the answers. The plan was to establish contact with you all on the edges of the city. We don't want any damage to happen in the capital, and going easy on you in fight like this would be more trouble than it's worth.
Going easy?
You misjudged us.
Kondou's remarks infuriated Tyr and Footman, who reacted angrily. It was just a ploy by their rivals, and in this instance, it backfired. Kagali was anxious because she realized this.
Let's all relax, you guys. Don't let his words upset you.
She yelled as she made an effort to quell their rage. Kondou glanced at her, not exactly amused. He gave his revolver a quick glance and then, for reasons only he knew, placed it back on his belt.
What a hassle. Let's go. Let me stop you from being a threat without having to kill you.
The atmosphere completely changed the instant he took his sword in both hands. Now, his aura was something that could only be attained by a genuine master.
Can I take over here, Tyr? Human. Let's get this done.
Even those fighting nearby felt pressured to halt because the two of them together made such a powerful presence. Kondou positioned himself in the 8-phase position and waited patiently for his foe. Footman, on the other hand, had no regard for defense and was prepared to launch a suicide assault. He surrounded his entire body in a combat aura, changed into a huge bullet, and attacked the enemy. In spite of his overweight frame, he moved with a speed that was unfathomable. Footman started to jump around Kondou and picked up speed as he rose off the ground. He continued his erratic motions, picking up speed.
Attempt to catch this maneuver if you can.
Footman used his final move on Kondou after feeling that he had reached his peak speed. The special ability used by Footman was known as Amplifier. This power's key feature was amplification. He had the ability to make them bigger, whether they were waves or masses. He could accelerate simply by bouncing, and his weight would keep growing, making him heavier than he appeared. No matter who the opponent was, they would all be destroyed if they were struck by this kinetic energy.
Take this, angry splatter.
Footman charged at Kondou with complete certainty and destructive force on his side. But Kondou suddenly displayed a talent of his own without even flinching.
You should feel pleased that I chose to use rumbling of heaven and earth for you.
It wasn't until everything was over that the quiet statement was heard. Footman's limbs and legs were severed in a split second. The activity happened too quickly for the naked eye to see. Without the astounding disparity in skill at work, it would be completely impossible to carry off. His neck was still attached to his body, but it was gushing bright red blood. Footman would live despite this, but it would be challenging to carry on the battle.
Was it Tyr? Bind his wrists and feet, and stop his neck from bleeding. We don't want him to pass away just yet.
Kondou told her bluntly. Once more holding a pistol in his right hand, he adopted his original posture. He was letting them know with this motion that he was done playing with them.
What are you thinking, exactly?
I'm not going to kill you. Especially you, Kagali, or, I should say, the former demon lord Kazalam. I can't kill you because you're still useful.
You fool. After what you've done, do you really believe I'm going to cooperate with you?
I don't require your consent. Did I not tell you that? I have the ability to influence people.
How awful a person was he, even? Kagali gave him a venomous look. She was incredibly annoyed by his speech pattern. She thought she understood everything, but couldn't get rid of the uneasy sensation that she didn't. She became increasingly irritated by Kondou's words. Then Kondou's handgun fired a crimson flash of light. When Kondou noticed this, he grinned just a small, barely perceptible smile. Kagali was astounded he could even grin. She felt the biggest warning bell yet at the same time, though. Stalling for time, so it was true after all. Realizing it now would be too late. Kagali kept looking for the best course of action despite the fact that she despised herself for being so thoroughly exploited. She was unsure of what to do, but Kondou was in complete control of the situation. She couldn't get out of this situation, and it seemed impossible for her to buy more time. There was only one course of action in that situation. There was only one thing remaining for Kagali to do: put an end to any potential threat to her companions. Or, to put it another way, suicide. She took the decision to end her life in order to stop information from leaking. However, as an undead elf, Kagali could never be completely destroyed. Even though she would lose her physical form, she could continue to exist by possessing another person. Tyr and Footman could tell what Kagali was planning. Like Kagali, they were undead elves who would never truly die.
That's it for this video, guys. Thank you for always watching my videos and supporting my channel.
Shout out to the new members of AnimeKouhai supporters. I Like Anime, Mark Charlie Elves, Hansel Ortega, Karam Faraj, Yellow Wally, Efrain Hernandez, Luca Gaming WTF, William Locke, Jordan Mersha, Wagging Tails. Thank you so much for helping out. I'll see you guys in the next video.